What's up, guys? Today we are going to talk about how to get into University of Miami. I've got 4 tips for you, which, if you apply them to your life and your application, will greatly increase your chances of getting into Miami, which is actually in Coral Gables, Florida, just outside of Miami proper. Let's start with tip number 1. While University of Miami is far from an Ivy League college geographically or statistically in terms of selectivity, I still want you to strive to reach the exact same sort of foundational level of excellence as I advise my Ivy League applicants to achieve because, frankly, a lot of kids applying to Ivy and Ivy Light schools like Penn, Emory, USC, and Tulane are also attracted to and applying to Miami for admission. I want you to be able to compete with the strongest applicants to Miami and not just get in by the skin of your teeth. For that reason, below this video, in the description section, please find the link to my How to Get into the Ivy League Ethically article, which is also published over at admissions.blog, a great website, by the way. Read every word of that article. The earlier in high school, the better, because if you can do everything that article is advising, you will go into the formal college application process during the summer before your senior year in high school well positioned to not only get into Miami, you'll also be pretty much able to consider Miami a slam dunk safety. Really read this article carefully and take it seriously. This is so important because in the article I provide specific advice about how to make smart academic, testing, extracurricular, and personal communication skills development choices throughout your high school career that will lay the foundation for a successful college application process. Miami still will accept students who can't achieve all that I am recommending for you to achieve in this article, but your chances of admission and merit-based aid will be much higher if you fully implement the suggestions I am making in this article. If you achieve some, but not all of what I recommend in the article, you still have a shot of admission. But as Miami becomes more competitive with each passing year, that's not a risk I want you to even consider taking. Moving on to tip number 2, if Miami is your first choice and you feel comfortable emotionally and financially committing to attend, apply early decision 1. As always, early decision is a binding agreement. If you get into Miami early decision, otherwise known as ED, you are committing to attend. But Miami also offers early decision 2, early action, and regular decision, in addition to what I just mentioned, which is early decision 1. Miami certainly does give the greatest preference to those students who apply binding, early decision, either 1 or 2. Therefore, if you can get your act together early enough, use the earlier ED1 deadline if you are ready to attend Miami when or if admitted. Though, again, ED2 is a great option if you figure out Miami is your first choice school between November 1st and January 1st of your senior year. You may be a little later to the party, but it's great to have that later early decision 2 deadline available to you as well. If you can't or don't want to apply early decision 1 or early decision 2, and there are good reasons why you may not want to, please, 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 please apply early action, which will give you an earlier notification than regular decision, but also allow you to be reviewed before the huddled masses of rejects from other schools apply regular decision. One more note on tip number 2. I would never apply early decision until you have visited Miami's campus first and engaged in an official tour and official information session on Miami's campus. University of Miami and Miami itself are both amazing places, but they are acquired tastes and don't necessarily match the images of them that you see in the media. Make sure that you visit Miami and its environs before ever committing to apply early decision, which is, again, binding. After all, this is a place at which you want to be able to spend 4 years happily, and to do your due diligence should not be asking too much. If you can't get on campus in person, try to at least do an official tour and information session virtually before you ever sign on the dotted line on an early decision contract, which, by the way, a parent has to sign as well as your school counselor as well. Tip number 3, Miami supplemental essay. Oh my, what a doozy. I could write a lot about this. I could talk a lot about this prompt, but I'm not going to do so today because I wouldn't be able to stop. But what I can say is this. I don't make the rules. I just help students play the game. And here's how I would play the game with Miami's very loquacious supplemental prompt, which comes in at a very robust 89 words to be exact. And Miami only wants you to respond in 250 words. Here's the prompt. The University of Miami's official mascot is the ibis. Folklore maintains that the native marsh bird is the last to take shelter before a hurricane hits and the first to emerge once the storm passes, making it an apt symbol of courage and resilience. Considering your ability to control your own motivation and behavior, how have past experiences helped build your courage and resilience to persist in the face of academic and life challenges so that, once the storm passes, you can emerge in continued pursuit of your goals? Of all the essay questions out there, none is as confusing for students as this one that I just read to you. What does Miami really want from you here? The prompt alone does not make that clear, which causes students to reread it and reread it and reread it again, which says a lot right there. What I can tell you is that you would be wise to share a story of one specific instance when you became more courageous or resilient in very specific detail, and then reflect on how this experience or episode in your life will impact your behavior or character or value system moving forward. You can even end with a line or two about how you will engage in the life of Miami's campus differently as a result of this episode about which you wrote in this essay. As to how to format the essay, I suggest a 1-sentence introduction with a thesis, then a 4 to 6 sentence body supporting or proving the thesis that you shared in the intro. And again, make sure you get into specific details to make the story engaging and as readable as possible. And then finally, a conclusion that goes a step beyond what you shared in the thesis and really paints at least a quick picture of you taking what you've learned or how you've grown and applying it to a life of engagement and impact on Miami's campus. Finally, tip number 4. University of Miami does not currently have any sort of extracurricular resume upload option on its supplement to the Common App. Yet, if you feel like you have more to share before completing your Common application and before University of Miami makes a decision about whether or not to accept you, there is one space on the Common part of the Common application where you can share some more impressive or compelling details about yourself. My recommendation would be to use all 650 words of the additional information section on the writing page of the Common App to do one of 3 things. Let's call them options A, B, or C. Option A is as follows. Elaborate on extracurricular activities that you began describing in the activities page of the Common App, and or use this additional information on the writing page of the Common App to describe for the first time activities that never made the cut at all to be included on the 10-entry activity page. Now, you don't just want to use a random format or structure to elaborate on your extracurricular activities in this section. If you do what I'm recommending here in option A, you want to convey more information about your extracurricular depth and breadth, but you need to do so effectively and efficiently. As such, you need to build an extraordinary extracurricular resume before you even start filling out college applications, or definitely before you submit this to Miami. That way, you will have a really strong working document to pull from for your 650-word additional information section resume. So how do you do that? Well, I'm happy that you asked. You got to make the definitive short course aptly named How to Build an Extraordinary Extracurricular Resume a part of your life, which means the link below this video is your friend. Go on, purchase that course. It's only 45 minutes in length. It's not a long course at all, and it's going to teach you exactly how to put together an extracurricular resume that is going to differentiate you from your competition. And even once you pare that down to a 650-word version of that resume, you're going to be in a really strong position to share much more depth and breadth than you ever could in the activities page of the Common App, but you're going to be doing so in the additional information section of the Common App's writing page. Option B is as follows. Instead of sharing a 650-word resume in the additional information section on the writing page of the Common App, what you could do here, and this is what again I'm calling option B, is to create your own Why Miami essay. It doesn't have to be 650 words long, and probably it shouldn't be, because if Miami really wanted this form of essay from all of its applicants, they would require it in their supplement, and instead they're asking about a bird. That's a joke. However, if you feel like you want to convey your specific fit for Miami and you are able to do so articulately and effectively, this is where you could theoretically create a Why Miami essay. Just make sure to make a very compelling case if you are courageous enough to provide a college like Miami an essay that it is not asking for. Miami's admissions officers, again, do not want their time wasted with an optional piece of writing unless it is going to be a very, very clear net positive for your overall candidacy for admission. If you can't write well, or you don't have a specific Why Miami case to make for yourself, writing an unassigned essay here is very much too much of a risk. And then finally, option C would be a hybrid of option A and B. In this scenario, you would add several hundred words of more details about extracurricular accomplishments before writing a very short 200 to 300 word essay about why you are the perfect fit for Miami and why Miami is the perfect fit for you. Please make sure that if you choose option B or C that I just detailed, that you only submit the common part of the Common App with this information included in it to Miami. You don't want to submit this iteration of the Common App to any other college on your list, because if you did, God forbid, Tulane or Elon or FSU or UF or some other school would likely become very disinterested in you if they saw that you put together a Why Miami essay in the additional information section of the common portion of the Common App. Make sure you delete it before you submit it to any other school on your list.